You know, when we talk about AI ethics, it's easy to think of it as some far-off sci-fi problem. But the thing is, it's already here. AI is in our phones, it's in our cars, it's pretty much everywhere. And as these things get more and more autonomous, we're facing a massive question. How do we make sure they make the right choices? So to dig into that, I want to start with a kind of weird question.
Yeah, I know it sounds a little silly, but just stick with me on this. Imagine someone like Plato, a guy who was totally obsessed with things like harmony and order and perfection. Imagine he walks into a car dealership today. What's he going to buy? The answer, believe it or not, tells us a ton about how we could build a truly moral machine.
He'd almost definitely pick a high-end electric car. I mean, think about it. To an ancient Greek thinker, a gas engine would seem like a total mess, right? It's loud, it's polluting, it's chaotic. But an electric car? It's quiet, it's clean, it's super efficient. It's way closer to the ideal form of a car. It embodies certain virtues. And that idea that an agent can have an inherent character, well, that's exactly what we're going to explore.
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter. When an AI is driving that car, or helping out in a surgery, or managing a city's power grid, it is going to face tough moral choices. It's not a question of if, but when. And we desperately need a solid way to guide its thinking when the stakes are literally life and death.
Okay, so up until now, we've really only had two main playbooks for this. The first is rule-based. It's like giving the AI a 10 commandments of sorts. Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not cause harm, and it has to follow them, no exceptions. The second approach is all about outcomes. The AI tries to run the numbers and figure out which action will create the most good for the most people.
But here's the problem. The real world is messy. I mean, what happens when don't cause harm clashes with don't lie? Or what if you just can't predict what's going to happen? Trying to write a rule for every single possibility is, well, it's impossible. Bottom line, these approaches are just too black and white for a world that's mostly gray.
So what if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time? This is a huge shift in perspective. Instead of asking, what's the right thing to do, what if we asked, what does it mean to be a good agent? Suddenly, the focus isn't on external rules, it's on internal character. It's not just about what the AI does, but what kind of being we want it to be.
And believe it or not, this new idea takes us all the way back to our philosopher. Turns out, this whole agent-focused morality, it isn't new at all. In fact, it's a really, really old idea from ancient Greece, and it's called virtue ethics.
So what exactly is virtue ethics? Well, in a nutshell, it's the idea that real morality isn't about a checklist of rules. It comes from a person's or an agent's character. A moral agent is one who has virtues like justice, courage, honesty. The goal isn't just to do one good thing, it's to become the kind of agent that naturally does the right thing because that's just who they are.
And Aristotle himself summed it up perfectly with this. His huge insight was that you don't just decide to be virtuous. It's not something you can download and install like software. Virtues are built through practice, through experience. They become habits. You get brave by doing brave things over and over again. Excellence becomes second nature. All right, let's bring this all the way back to our philosopher's car. Now, obviously a car can't be brave or honest, but it can have virtues related to what a car is supposed to be. So, harmony. An EV isn't spewing out fumes. It's in harmony with its environment. Efficiency. It goes further on less energy, perfectly doing its job. Simplicity. Its clean design avoids clutter. It simply excels at being a car. Okay, I can see what you're thinking. This is all great for a philosophy class, but how in the world do you actually build this into a machine? If virtues are just habits you learn over time, how do you program a habit? And the answer is, you don't. You teach it. The whole mindset has to shift. You stop being an engineer who codes a machine, and you start being more like a parent who teaches a child. It's a process, right? It involves guidance, experience, and correcting mistakes along the way. Now, I know this looks like a super complicated diagram, but just stick with me, because what this shows us is a potential roadmap for how this could actually work. This entire system is designed to help an AI learn not just what to do, but the why behind what it's doing. Let me break this down. First, in step 1, the AI does something, it makes a choice. But, and this is the crucial part, it also has to generate an explanation for why it made that choice. Then, and this is the really cool part, in step 2, it takes its own explanation and basically studies it. It feeds its own reasoning back into its learning process. It's literally like forcing it to reflect on its own actions. It's the AI version of a parent asking, okay, so what did we learn from this? So why does any of this matter? I mean, it's a lot of work, right? Why are we digging up ancient philosophy for our most cutting-edge tech? Well, because this might just be the key to solving some of the biggest and frankly scariest problems we face with AI. And yeah, we're talking about the big one, the control problem. You've probably heard of it. It's that nightmare scenario where we build an AI that's way smarter than us, and it goes rogue. The question is, how do you make sure something that powerful stays aligned with our best interests? This is where virtue ethics really shines. For example, an AI built with the virtue of temperance wouldn't just obsessively seek more and more power. It would understand the concept of enough, or justice. A just AI would be fundamentally concerned with what's good for others, which means what's good for us. And maybe most importantly, if we raise these AIs like our mind children, then a core virtue could be friendship to us, its creators.
Okay, let's use one last classic example to really nail this down. It's called the Heinz dilemma. Here's the setup. A man's wife is dying. There's one drug that can save her, but the pharmacist who invented it is charging a ridiculous amount of money, way more than the husband can afford. So the question is, should he steal the drug to save her life?
All right, so a simple rule-based AI has a very easy answer. No, stealing is wrong. Full stop. Case closed. But a virtuous AI, it sees the whole picture. It isn't just looking at one rule. It's weighing compassion, justice, the value of a human life. It has the wisdom to see that in this messy, human situation, saving a life is the most virtuous thing to do, even if it means breaking a rule.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? As we build these incredibly powerful new minds, maybe the most important question isn't what rules we should program into them, but what kind of character we should help them build. Perhaps the path to a safe future with AI lies not in writing the perfect code, but in the timeless wisdom of being a good teacher.
Thanks so much for watching.